What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning referee review. Yes, this is part 2, okay? Part 2 of referee review. We have to review a referee that is very highly criticized and very, very important in this year, and his name is called Mark Nelson. Okay, if you guys don't know Mark Nelson, he is the referee that refereed Tyson Fury, the WBC heavyweight champion, versus Alexander Usyk, the unified heavyweight champion, for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Okay, and he was the one responsible and had the job of refereeing that fight. Before we go into the referee review, we have to pull up the tail of the tape. That is correct. Hall of Fame expanded Mark Nelson, referee 1992 to present, born May 15th, 1965, induction in 2019. He moves side to side or circles the men as he assigns to oversee watching for violations, irregularities, occasionally stepping in to disengage clinches. His eyes are fixed on the nebulous demarcation line that separates two fighters even as he shifts one way or the other, blending into what transpires without distracting from the action. He is focused and moves quickly. When a fighter catches the other with a barrage of punches that there is no response, he seems to know when a fighter is done long before anyone at ringside, in the corners, or sometimes even the fighter himself. Immediately, objections to his quick responses are often quickly amended. He has been lauded countless times with his swift reactions have prevented an unresponsive fighter from taking unnecessary punishment, or worse yet, incurring serious injury. In July of this year, he stopped the fight in the 6th round of a consolidation match between two unbeaten champions for the World Boxing Council and World Boxing Organization super lightweight titles after Jose Luis Ramirez overwhelmed Maurice Hooker, who had words after. Okay. And let me counterpunch. This guy has over 30 years of experience in the ring. And, of course, he was getting notified and appreciated from stopping a fight, which, of course, they had an issue with because he stopped the fight. Now, that's ironic for this particular review because Mark Nelson did not stop the fight when Alexander Usyk was beating Tyson Fury, catching him in the 9th round, and was beating him pillar to post. Pillar to post, okay? And this is how it goes, okay? Now, just to back this, all right? Just to keep it a buck, to get everybody on the same page, all right? And we have the history of knockdown, or knockout. No, a knockout does not count as a knockdown in boxing. A knockdown occurs when a boxer touches the ground with any part of their body other than their feet or is held up by the ropes. Okay? By the ropes. Keep that in mind. A knockout occurs when a boxer is knocked down and cannot get up by the count of 10. A knockout is an automatic win for the opponent. A referee counts to 10 after a boxer is knocked down. The referee may also signal a knockout by waving both arms and stopping the contest. A fight can also end in a technical knockout, TKO, if the referee or ringside physician deems the boxer to be unable to defend themselves. Okay. Now, I had to read that because there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of ways you can look at that based on the facts. The facts are what? Mark Nelson has the right, or he can rule either way he wants to by simply stopping the fight. Okay. Now, he did say a knockdown can occur when a boxer touches the ground in any part of the body other than their feet or is held up by the ropes. Now, Mark Nelson could have defended himself by saying, hey, well, the only thing that was holding Tyson Fury up was the ropes. That's why I decided to make the count. Now, he could always argue that. However, what contradicts that is what he did with Maurice Hooker. Okay? What he did with Maurice Hooker is something totally different. It was actually contradicting. It was the opposite of that. You know, he stopped the fight in that Hooker and that Hooker fight. Okay? And the question you would ask yourself is, why would he stop a fight to that magnitude versus not stopping a fight on a much, much, much bigger magnitude? That just shows you he'd have made a decision based on the seriousness of the fight. And no, he's not British. He's American. Okay, so you have an American referee, a Ukrainian unified champion, and a British heavyweight champion, WBC champion. Right? So he was very quick. All right, let's go back to it. He was very quick to stop the Maurice Hooker versus the Jose Luis Ramirez fight, right? And he waved that fight off. They went apeshit because the people thought, well, hey, it was too close. You did it too. That was an early stoppage. And I understand a referee's job is to keep the fighter safe, right? But he waved that fight off by keeping the fighter safe. Well, where was Tyson Fury? The only thing you did for Tyson Fury, you stopped Alexander Usyk from finishing him. Now, he could say, well, the ropes were holding him up, but then, you know, to stop the fight at that particular time was not the right call based on the fact, people, the fact that he knew what he could have done because he's done it earlier this year. Both of these fights, Hooker and Ramirez was this year. Usyk and Fury was this year. So in two different fights, he decided to do two different things. Okay? Because Tyson Fury was out on his feet, bro. There was nothing holding him up. You know, and he was getting battered and beat all over the place, unanswered. And listen. Just like I read to you guys, it says, a fight can also end in a technical knockout if the referee or physician deems the boxer unable to defend themselves. Was Tyson Fury defending himself? No, he was not. You know what I mean? You may argue that he was trying to get away from the shots. No, well, at that point, at some point he was. But at that end point, the last two or three momentum moves, that was all him just getting knocked around by Usyk. I don't think that was necessarily him trying to get away. I think that was just him getting beat from side to side. So he wasn't defending himself at all. He was just getting hit. And he was he was out on his feet. They could have stopped that fight, but guess what? A fight can end, meaning it's up to the referee to make that decision. I just feel it's funny from Mark Nelson, okay, in my review of Mark Nelson, my counterpunch of Mark Nelson, that why would you stop the Hooker-Ramirez fight quickly, but then you have a stiffen or a hesitancy on Usyk versus Fury? It just makes you wonder. It just says, okay, well, one sticks out, one's more important, and I know it's much more politics besides this one than the other one. What he did, he gave Tyson Fury a pass. That was a bad call from him. Okay? This is a bad review by Mark Nelson. No doubt about it. Okay? No doubt about it. This is a bad call. I know referees are in charge of a lot of things, the safety of people, the safety of lives, the rules that follow. But in this case, Tyson Fury should have been stopped in the 9th round. Okay? But if you want to argue that, you can argue what a lot of referees decide to do. But you guys tell me what you think of this referee review concerning Mark Nelson and his review of two separate fights. Ramirez and Hooker, and Usyk and Fury. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!